waits, and Thompson scores! Masaba's in the middle, Wednesday here could seal it, Gassman finds Masaba! Yeah! Now Bannan with a great ball in, here's an opportunity, Palmer scores! Liam Palmer has scored for Sheffield Wednesday!
North stand, no idea. Squad, no idea. Manager, also no idea. Don't worry though. I mean, it's not like the first game of the season is in 2 weeks' time at all, is it? Hello and welcome to Wednesday Till I Die podcast. I'm James Mappin. Alongside me this week, no, it's not Matt Johnson. He's off with the family in Portugal. He landed on Thursday. He texted me earlier, just on his second round of golf. I honestly don't know how that guy does it. But anyway, I've got a perfect replacement for him making his debut on the main pod. You'll have heard him on a Wednesday night on the debate show. It's Mr. Paul Pashley. Paul, how's it going, mate? You all right?
I'm not bad, pal. Are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. I hope you put some 50 pence in the meter, because I brought you up on Wednesday. I just said you had glowing reviews and then you disappeared, so I've no idea what happened there.
Story of my life, mate. That. Yeah, I was waiting. My mate was picking me up for football because I play at 9 o'clock, stupid time. And I got in the car and I just lost all reception. And I sat in the back going, what are you doing sat in the back? I'm on a podcast. No, I'm not on a podcast. Let me get out of the car. Anyway, it was chaos. So I do apologise for that. But,
it was funny though. I said you got glowing reviews. You came up and then you disappeared. So people were giving you some shit in the comments, which you always going to get.
Yeah. I've had worse than that, I'm sure.
But yeah, Paul, before we kind of get into the the finer details and stuff like that. Actually, first of all, congratulations, England women winning the Euros back to back. I mean, they made it look difficult, though, didn't they? Really, was it now last three games all go into extra time, and then two in the penalties as well.
I thought Laura Bronze was absolutely sensational, though. I mean, I think the men can take a little bit of a lesson from the women. I mean, penalties for a start. They always seem to. I don't think they've lost under the current manager. And also, Lucy Bronze must have been down about 4 or 5 times. I know she went off in the end, but I'm just like, oh my God, incredible.
That's what I mean. I've not watched a great deal of it, I must admit. But that's one thing when they do seem more honest, let's say, in terms of when they do go down. It's not diving and rolling around. I think there was one team that did that. I saw it on the socials and stuff. But all in all, that is one thing that does annoy me: the kind of rolling around and feigning injury and stuff like that. But it seems like they don't really do a great deal of that. Anyway, like I said, before we kind of get into the meat and bones of it, what's your kind of take on the whole situation? I know we've only got an hour and a half, Paul. So, we have got other stuff we need to talk about, but just kind of obviously first time on the pod. What's your stance on it all?
An absolute and utter disgrace. Absolutely disgusting what's going on, and there's no hiding place. The respect for the chairman, I've got zero respect for the man. In fact, I will now refer to him throughout the episode as Ardej, because I know. If somebody, all right, Dej, he'd hate it. And because he'd hate it, because the dictator that he is, guess what? Your empire's crumbled, mate. And I don't think anybody's got any left. I find it, I was lucky enough to work for some football clubs doing what I do, but I worked with Man United for 7 years on the corporate side and the marketing side and the PR side. And people go, at the time, pre-COVID, there were things that they did that were so simple that anybody could have done. We don't do the basics. And I'd go back to Hillsborough and I'd watch stuff and I'd see the South Stand needing a lick of pain and I'd pass the elephants, that looked sensational, of course. And the sound system. And then somebody tells me that we've got budgeted lights. The lights aren't great. He's gone for the cheapest. And it's just not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And for me, as a passionate fan, as you know, like yourself, like everybody that listens to this podcast, we're all ambitious. We want to get back to where it should be. And I'm just not sure that this chairman's got football in his head. He never has had. He doesn't know what he's doing. He'll try and blag his way through. And I'm just at the end of it with him. I've just had enough. Coco's
Do you know what though? You say like the passion and stuff. I feel like he's just ripped that all out of us, and kind of that ambition of getting back to the Premier League again. I think we've had it so bad for so long. I think most people now, if you speak to them, they'll just want a normal football club, just to do normal things. We'd snap your hands off for I'd say a Bristol City that just kind of go about things and finish mid-table. Pretty much
doesn't make sense to me, James. None of it makes sense to me. None of it makes sense in the way of we are the most important part of that football club, and also we are a massive profit for anybody that takes that football club and wants to grow it. Look how small Wrexham are, but they've obviously gone on to the whole media thing and they've grown and grown. But we've got a massive fan base all over the world, and I don't care. And he said that, actually Sheffield Wednesday is not very big. Well, yeah, mate. Well, I'll listen to you like I put a chocolate card up. Do you know what I mean? It's just absolutely clueless. But the fact of the matter is, it's just baffling how he treats the fans. I mean, I said it the other week on the show. Jenny Gassama, Crown Jewels has gone. Brilliant, well done. £3 and a packet of nuts. Brilliant, well done, Mr. Chansiri. And then 3 hours later, here's the kit with nobody in it. So it's almost like, you know what? You serve a purpose. You pay, and I'll just disrespect for you. Just keep paying. And he is treated us like customers.
Well, he said that, didn't he? So, and he did say as well that he's not going to put any more money in the club. So,
neither should we.
On that, yeah, well, yeah, exactly, and that started on it. Again, we're going to talk a little bit about yourself and kind of your journey in Sheffield Wednesday before. Again, we talk about Callum Patterson and stuff like that. I do want to give a shout out to Scott the postman, though. He's not my postman, but I don't think he is anyway. I've not seen him putting some letters through the letterbox, but he might be yours though. Listening, I have no idea. He might be, but he did call me at my lad's football on Friday. His lad also plays for the same team, just in a higher age group, and came over, had a brief chat. He says he listens when he's on his rounds on a Monday morning. He said, "Give me a shout out." So here you go, Scott. Here's your little shout out, mate. So it's always great to meet people out in the wild that listen to the podcast.
I do it. I listen to this podcast. I'll save it. I'll listen to it when I can on a Wednesday nights after football. I'll save it, and then when I'm doing a gig or when I'm going somewhere and I've got a couple of hours, I'll stick it on. And and I'm not just saying that because I'm on it. I do. I'm absolutely obsessed with Wednesday and football, so I'll always have it on.
Well, Christ, at the moment, like literally, we get to Monday evening and it's out of date. With our things are changing and how fast things are moving at the moment. things have slowed down a little bit over the past couple of days. But anyway, Paul, how did you become a Wednesday fan? Let's do a bit of a go back in time, back into the good old days. Let's say.
Yeah, well, my next door neighbour took me to a game, and I can't even remember the first game what it was, but I loved the colour blue. I hated red. And then he took me to this game and all like, wow, look at the stadium and wow.
When are we talking? Are we talking?
90s 90s, 90, probably early 90s. Early 90s. I remember being a teen and having the best shirt, the Sanderson shirt.
Oh yes,
with the black owl with the yellow around it, was it? And then I had on the back, Wim Jonk played for us at the time. I'd watched it before, and I had this thing with Wim Jonk that it was absolutely useless. I couldn't see anything that he did. And I'd argue, and we got this great player, Wim Jonk, he plays for, I think it was Netherlands, Holland. And I just watched him and thought, God, he's terrible. So I got that angry. I wanted to have a certain word on the back with his number. And in the end, I wanted to have Jim Wank and then his name on it. I can say that, can't I?
Yeah, of course you can, mate. Yeah.
And in the end, he wouldn't let me have it at the shop. So I went, okay. I went, hasta la vista. And then I had the Premier League badge on the bottom, baby, underneath. Because I knew we were going to get relegated with him. But that's how I became a fan. And then I sort of got hooked, which is quite strange. My family's quite checkered. I was brought up by my stepdad who wasn't really into football. But my biological dad, Italian, is a massive Inter fan, and my brother's an AC Milan fan, but I'm a Wednesday fan, so I can't even compare. I just can't even.
You got rough end of stick on that one, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Any proud moments of being a Wednesday fan? I know you're there and everywhere with your work and stuff, but is there any games that kind of stand out, or is it just the usuals that people now go to, which is Brighton at home, Peterborough at home, Wembley against Barnsley? You know, they're the kind of go-tos at the moment, or even further afield, it'll be United at Wembley and Man United in '91 and stuff like that. But
I can remember the worst game. I can remember the worst and the best. I can remember the worst one when we had John Best Weatherich at left back. And I remember Paul McLaren in the middle of the pitch. The team's on, ladies and gentlemen, that's blah, blah, blah. Number 4, Paul McLaren. And he went, boo, because we were that bad. And he, in the middle of the pitch, he just went, come on. I remember that. And I saw him years later at a bar somewhere. I went, are you Paul McLaren in Manchester? And he was like, yeah. That was one of the worst times when we were getting battered. I can't remember what season that was. And then one of the best times was probably Brighton at home and Arsenal in the cup.
Yeah, that was a great game as well. Yeah,
everybody got injured basically from Arsenal, and we got a chance.
Yeah, I suppose you could add Newcastle to that one. That was a great game as well. So I think whenever you look at kind of great games, and for any club, I suppose, always the ones where you're the underdog and you then win the game. I think that always always goes well. The atmosphere is always
should be some great games next year, then, James. Every week.
Yeah, yes.
Give it
good old underdogs. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Paul. Favorite Wednesday kit? What's your favorite?
I think the black kit a couple of seasons ago, was it? Forestieri wore it. I can't remember what season it was. Black, bit of yellow on the collar.
All right, okay.
It wasn't an old traditional one. I like that one because it fitted a little bit. It seemed to fit very well, even though I wasn't keen on the brand. I've got it somewhere. I'll dig it out at some point. I can't remember.
I go back. All the ones in the 90s, I think, were good.
The Sanderson one that I got with the Hasta La Vista on the back. That was like the traditional stripes on the bike, stripes on the front. That's how it should be in it, really.
Of course it should.
Not this Ipswich one. This Ipswich one we've got now. What's the back going on that? Sorry.
And you know what? I wake up sometimes and I think it looks a bit better. And then I saw the pictures from the game was it a game? Training exercise, whatever we had yesterday. We'll touch on that in a second. But I saw some of those pictures. I'm like, I'm not too sure again. I really don't like it, but we'll see. We'll see what it looks like when we see it a bit, in action a little bit more. But Paul, just on you personally, a second. Now you do a lot of, you're a singer by trade. Have you always done that? Is that something you've always done in your career?
I actually got into it through Meadow Hall. I was one of those clowns in Meadow Hall that used to run around terrorizing people. It was brilliant. I loved it. It's work experience. 15-year-old lad dressed up with like full makeup on and then the hat, and I once was juggling up an escalator and I dropped the ball down and it hit the glasses off this kid, and he chased me around Meadow Wall for about 20 minutes. I had to hide in fire exits with my mates. But yeah, I did that work experience. Then I went to BTEC at Norton College, Performing Arts, trained as an actor in Manchester, trod the boards for a while. Went to uni with Jason Manford and another couple. Obviously, we all went different ways. So Jason, obviously,
name dropping here, Paul. Come on,
I know. I've got to pick him up. No, yeah. So Jason's done well, and I just went into singing because I was doing theatre and education, and it was like, 350 quid, 400 quid a week. I was living so far away from home, and you know what it's like. If you're away, you spend. So at the end of the run, I was getting no money, and I got seen by somebody who had a big band, and he said, "Listen, come on the road with me. We'll show you the ropes." And then from that, I got my own band together, and then got my own projects together, and very lucky enough to do it as a career now as a singer.
Yeah, I did karaoke the other week. Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody was the
it's a good one. That
don't ask me why. It was about 11 o'clock at night. I think I'd been probably 10 hours drinking. Sounded great to me.
That's the best. That's the best way. That's the best way. You know what I mean? Sometimes, but everybody's got. It doesn't matter what you do. I do this. I do this James Bond orchestra with they call the International Film Orchestra. It's like a 60-piece, and I was just put on. I was in my dressing room eating a Twix 15 minutes before we went on, and the West End singers like proper, Louise Dearman. She was in the original cast of Wicked, and she's doing me, doon, doon, and I'm thinking, I've got to reevaluate this level now. I can't get away with just, But everybody's got a part.
The Twix ain't cutting it.
That just threw, and I was just started doing scales and drinking water. But
yeah,
yeah.
started being. I suppose it's a bit like what we think Chansiri's doing. He were winging it, and then we thought he were doing it things properly, getting a broker in, but maybe he's still winging it. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah, the broker for me. Listen, I was saying, if you can sell your house, you can go to an estate agent tomorrow, have it valued, and then they'll put it up, and you don't pay him a penny until it's sold. I think he's had us. I think he's having us on one. Mr. Chansiri for me. I'd like to know why he's holding on to the club so much. There's potentially five bidders. We were told there can't be five that have got problems. It's got to lead back to the nucleus of it. And for me, if he doesn't sell the club, as fans, we should be asking, why, Mr. Chansiri, are you not selling this club? Because we know it's not football matters, because we ain't got any left.
Well, he's gone into hiding though, hasn't he? Although he was spotted in
He was there.
Yeah, he was spotted in Mayfair, which again we'll come on to in a second, because I know quite a lot of people might have some thoughts on that. Before we come on to the comments, Paul, album out? Where can people listen to you and stuff like that? Is that on the horizon?
Yeah, it is. So I've done this project called Swings, a 21st Century Thing. So obviously you've got the standards that maybe the older generation will probably listen to a lot more than the younger. So I decided to take versions of Drake, Harry Styles, Billie Eilish, Tones and I, and put a big band vibe to it. So I released Disco 2000, which you can hear on my socials and on my website. Go to my website, just my name and .com. And then I'm doing a nice gig at the OEC, hopefully a gig where we can all relieve from the stress of the season. It's an international break on a Sunday afternoon at the OEC with my band, just running the album, which will be out next year. But the singles will be out throughout the year this year.
Great stuff. We'll be I think 4 or 5 games in that point. We might have registered a win by that point.
Yeah, we might be top of the league. Top of the league, I think.
Well, yeah. What you've been smoking. Anyway, let's come to a few comments before we talk about Callum Patterson. Adam Rhodes said 100 million laughing emoji. Yes, that's obviously reported how much Chansiri's been asking for the club. Alex is in the house. He says evening. Fred says DC, no idea. Annie's here. We've also Alex says a win's a win. I'm guessing that in reference to England, or it could be in reference to yesterday against Mansfield. Who knows? Coop says, how long into the season before we're celebrating opposition goals? So, oh dear. Knack says Chansiri still wants 100 million for us. We have no chance getting a new owner until administration. Matt's on the same vein. 100 million. Haha, he's had us on strings for weeks. Never will sell. Let's stop talking about takeovers. Alex says, evening both. Let's get this last embargo paid. Then Bannan and Pato signed up ASAP. Yeah, let's talk about Callum Patterson then, Paul. A nice segue into that one. Some potential good news. It was revealed on Friday that Callum Patterson has returned to the club to train with us, not signed yet. Obviously, his contract expired at the start of this month. He was offered a new deal. He's yet to sign it. I don't know whether there's anything to do with the embargo and the fact that, we've heard that $7,000 a week wages. I don't know how that, it's a bit of a grey area. I'm not sure if that applies to kind of existing players that we've offered contracts to or not, but we'll have to wait and see. But I suppose, Paul, if there's ever a season where you're going to need someone like Callum Patterson, it's probably this one that we've got coming up, because he's, a utility man. If you look up utility man in the dictionary, it is just a picture of Callum Patterson.
I think it's a massive battle that we know, and there's nobody better for it. I mean, I like Pato. I think he's honest. I think some of the stuff he does is entertaining, but he puts his body on the line, and he's actually, I didn't realize how big a man he is. He's actually a massive unit, Patterson. And you think, the defenders marking this guy, we do need to sign him. My head's just distracted on one of those messages, actually, where it was saying, let's forget about the takeover thing and it's not going to happen. I think throughout this, the fans have really got to maintain the nucleus of this problem and carry on until we get rid of the problem, because we've gone from, in a few weeks last season, hopefully trying to push for top 6, to now praying that we keep Callum Patterson, which I'm nothing against Callum Patterson, but we've got to remember that the chairman is currently the problem. And although this is a quick fix, we should still really push for what's right for the club. we're going to fight all season. I get fed up of just League One up, League One. And you look at this thing that's this theory that Chansiri is not going to sell. He doesn't want to sell. Let me ask you something, like, James, tell me what you think about this, because I can't see the Wednesday fans sitting in League One going, oh, it's all right, as long as if we get too close to the top, he'll do something stupid and we'll drop again and we'll never go up from League One because he can run us. That's never going to sit.
Well, the thing is, I think every time we have obviously we've had one relegation under Chansiri, one promotion. All right, we got to the playoffs initially. I feel like us getting to the playoffs, when we did in his first season, getting to the final, 90 minutes away from the Premier League, then also getting to the playoffs the following season. Then obviously the wheels kind of fell off. But I feel like those first 2 seasons bought him a lot of credit from a lot of the fan base. Then whenever there was anything that happened and there was people slagging him off, it was always you weren't saying that when you were signing Jordan Rhodes, and you weren't saying that when you're at Wembley thinking you're going to get to the Premier League. You're happy for him to spend his money here, there, and everywhere. And there was a bit of an argument for and against, and I feel like only this season has that credit ran out, and I firmly believe that even though he sold the stadium and we got points deduction and we got relegated to League One, people still held on to the fact that he was pumping money into the football club. And it's taken him to show his true colours and show that he hasn't got any money left for that to have now ran out. So when you're saying about kind of bouncing between League One and the Championship and stuff, I do think now it's got to a point where, and again, I don't want to talk out of turn, but I think the vast majority of the fan base, if not all of the fan base, has just simply had enough of him. And we've had enough of these games and stuff. Yeah. Yes, we can look back 10 years ago, and yes, we can say we weren't moaning. Of course, we weren't. Like who in the right mind would moan when a chairman comes in and you're spending money on players who are making the team better, you're performing better, you're winning games, and you might get to the Premier League, you'd be absolutely stupid.
Well, he's gambled, hasn't he? He wins as well, so it's all right saying to the fans, "Oh, you're okay if I would." Hang on a minute. If you get promoted, how much do you get? So he's gambled for his own reason. I mean, I feel sorry for Mr. Chansiri. Obviously, but he's not giving me much reason.
Not anymore.
He's not anymore. No, because he's not giving me any reason anymore. Simply because everybody that's tried to help him hasn't been able to. He won't listen. Apparently, he won't listen. I always say this, but I asked him a question, and it goes back to what's exactly happening now without a manager. I said to him, after Darren Moore had been sacked at the open night at Hillsborough a couple of seasons ago, I tried to, the first time, I'd done some stuff for the club, but I'd met Mr. Chansiri when he first came, but not very, very briefly. I give him a question on that night roundabout. God, it must have been 4 o'clock in the morning, because you know what them nights are like. It was late. And I said, Mr. Chansiri, there doesn't seem to be a liaison between the club and the fan base, which is just mind-blowing. Nothing's getting filtered out right. We don't hear enough. It's a club, And he was laughing at me, going, and I'm thinking, that is so ignorant. Yeah. That is so ignorant. But, he just won't listen, will he?
No, we're going to talk about Chansiri in a second. Let's just get back to Callum Patterson for a ceasefire. Look, we love tangents, but we are going to talk about Chansiri and everything in a second. But I think for me with Pato, and again, I've not been his biggest fan. I'll admit that. I'll hold my hands up and say that when you look at where we were trying to get to, which is obviously playoffs and top 6 and stuff like that, Pato is probably a player that you don't really need. You want someone else who's just better, like for one, and I don't fault his work ethic, and his ability to change a game when he does come on, when chips are down. You want someone like him that can just smash into a player, like for a better word.
The thing is, James, as well, he's versatile. We're not going to have a play for every position.
We've got what, 16 first team players?
So you sign Pato, you can have somebody covered in right back for you, right wing back, centre forward. He'll probably play centre defence if he had to. He's a little bit like the Lee Bullen mould of he'll play anywhere. So his value is a valuable asset.
Paul, the only problem is you can only play one of those positions at any one time. Because I feel like at the
moment, don't know. Chansiri might have him doing a lot. You don't know. Don't worry, we'll play 7.
I looked. If you go on to, I think it's Transfer Market and type in Callum Patterson, it gives you quite a nice infographic of all the positions that a player's played.
Yeah.
He's like a little circle. He's like, if people play Football Manager, it's similar to that. He's just full. He's played.
Yeah.
I think the only one he hasn't played is goalkeeper. Which, I mean, look.
Yeah.
We've only got one first-team goalkeeper at the moment, so you never know. He could be Pato could be firmly on the bench every single week, just simply to cover wherever he's needed. But I mean, obviously, fans love him as well, don't they, Paul? Like when you look at it, and I think what is it about players like Pato that people just love?
He's a Jose Semedo, isn't he? He's 100%er. At this club, we love 100%ers. Even if you're technically limited in whatever you are as a footballer. But you give 100%. I mean, there was a game where I think it was the Peterborough game where they were all immense, but he was absolutely incredible. He
scored that goal that most people forget about. The goal in extra time.
He pulled his hamstring as well. He pulled his hamstring at a point on the wing, and then he tried to head the ball and he was down. Then he got up and he was trying to... How many players will do that?
Not many.
There's not many players that do that. What if we don't have Callum Patterson, the probably other end of the spectrum to Callum Patterson is a risk from Europe, a European player that we don't know. We know what we're getting with Pato. He's a great guy, puts it in. He's probably going to guaranteed 3 or 4 or 5 goals if he plays in the right positions next season, and it's going to be long ball, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking at some of his numbers now. 186 appearances for Sheffield Wednesday, 31 goals, 15 assists, 32 yellow cards as well. He loves it. He loves it.
Oh, can we just? We're missing the best thing about Pato, the master of shithousery.
Oh yeah. And we're going to need that this season. We are definitely going to need that because it is going to be tough. Well, I'm going to say it now. We're going to finish bottom. Like if I had a tenner and you had to say like you've got to put it on as finishing in one position, I am going to put it on as finishing bottom. That's not being negative. That is just me being realistic of the situation. But if we're going to have any chance of doing anything, we have to master the dark arts. Has anyone got Stockdale's number? Can we give him a buzz? We need to get him back in.
He might be back. Go this way. He'd probably be back.
Get him in his. I know he's doing some. I think is it. I can't remember.
It was at York, wasn't he? And then did he go somewhere else?
Farsley or someone like that. His family have bought that club now, or something. Wow. And I know he was. I could be getting that wrong, but I know he was the manager as well somewhere else. So you never know. Get him back in. He could just get him on a coaching role and just teach all our players how to waste time, because we need to be doing a lot of time wasting this season.
I think Charles needs to learn that, doesn't he? A little bit from Beadle. Beadle was quite good at that towards the end. A little bit of time wasting. I've not really seen Piers Charles do much of that yet. Hey, listen, it might be Pato in the net. He might be doing it.
Exactly, it could be. I mean, again, let's look at numbers. 6 goals he scored last season. The season prior, didn't play a great deal, but failed to score. Got 5 in League One for one season, 6 in the other one. You're right. He gets you kind of 5 or 6 goals, and clutch goals as well at times. So
we're in a good position. I think we're in a good position. We're not, but we're in a good position in a way as a club for a new owner to come in. I know the Danny Role situation, which I'm sure we'll get onto. At the minute, he's still at the club. And Pato, obviously for me, in my opinion, as somebody's not come in for him for whatever reason, but he's still here at the club. So although we'll struggle with embargoes, if we can get his head around the Bannan and Pato, couple of decent youngsters, we might scrape along some. I think it's a good position for somebody to come and buy the club.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's a clean slate.
Yeah, Danny says, I like Pato, but he's too slow. Mark says, we are now League One standard. Alex, we are the new Rotherham. Daz, we was League One standard last season, 70% this time. We are 70% League Two.
I do believe that. I think Danny Role actually excelled the majority of our squad last season to get us over that.
There was a comment here. Here we go. Alex says last season we punched well above our weight due to Danny. I do agree. And we said it many times last season. Me and Matt, how he's getting the most out. Danny was getting the most out of this squad of players. Let's not forget that largely similar. I know every season we've had a churn of players, but you look at like the season prior, Jerry Gassama, obviously Cisco couldn't get a tune out of him whatsoever. And then next minute we're talking about a £2.2 million player, but really it should have been between 5 and 10, and that's down to what Danny's done, and he's actually
developed him, hasn't he? I think Preston probably think they've got the new Cafu with Paul, but
we'll wait and see on that one. You never know.
Did you see the clip when they were playing Liverpool and he dropped his shoulder to go, and the Liverpool lad just like half pace just took it round him, and I thought, oh.
Look, he could have stayed at Wednesday, and he didn't have to have a baked potato on front of his shirt. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
That is incredible.
At least they're forward thinking though, Preston. Yeah, I know they've got a baked potato on the front of the shirt, but they're doing bits and they're being relevant and stuff like that. But anyway, Jack says Pato had a great end to last season. To be fair to him, and I'm not his biggest fan either. Yeah, I felt sorry for him a little bit. I think it was the QPR game, weren't it, where he did that interview after, and he was saying how he has struggled as well, and he wants to play constantly all the time. I mean, I suppose if he was to sign, obviously with the money, it's 100% got to be on the money and stuff in terms of why he hasn't signed that new contract and things. Needs to have guarantees that he's actually going to get paid. He's got a young family and things like that. But yeah, he just wants to play football, and he just wants to give 110%.
Isn't he quite settled as well? Didn't he give an interview where he said his wife's quite happy, she's got a network of friends, and he's quite,
Paul, that's the thing that people forget about, don't they, with footballers? They think it's just easy just to go whatever club comes in for you, you can just bobby off and there you go. Which, for some, in the early 20s, maybe it is fairly easy to do that. But someone that, is a little bit older, they have got a wife, they have got children. You have to think about that sort of stuff. It's like, can you travel to and from, especially if you've only just moved and they've only been there a year or so? I mean, it might be that your missus is saying, I don't want to stay here. I want to go back to where I were before, all things. But it's not just as easy, is it, Paul? Just to go, oh yeah, I'll relocate to Scotland, for example.
Well, I was funny saying that, because I was talking on an event. I was talking to a lady, a girlfriend of a footballer in Scotland. I can't remember the guy's name. I think he played for St Mirren, and he's a striker. And she said he's coming towards the end of the season, and we're hoping we can get a deal done. We're quite happy here. We've always been traveling. We've had a year here, a year there, a loan here. He's been away there, and we really like it here. And Scotland, I don't think he was on massive money either. Yeah, and you've got to think about your wife, who's probably not working, or because she's having to move around that much, it does affect. It must be mentally challenging if you think about, if you're not playing, am I going to get another contract or not?
I think people just think like, oh, you're a footballer, you should be happy all the time, and like I'm sure they are fairly happy, but when you that's all they know is playing football, and when we come to this situation that they're in now, where they're not being paid and things, you don't know who your manager's going to be. You turn up to work and like, what shit's going to land today? The pitch is going to be ready for us. Who's going to walk through the door? You're just looking and thinking, you might be in training. Some of your seasoned pros like your Bannan, they'll be looking thinking, fucking hell, this is the worst it's ever been. He's been here a while. He knows, and don't you? As a footballer, that when you just general passing and skills training and stuff like that, you're thinking, this is going to be a long old season. This
is a thing that I find very interesting with Pato coming back after not being paid a couple of times. Has he had any guarantees that something's happening, or is it all going to change? He's still got with a young family. He still has to pay the bills every month. He's going for it a little bit by signing the contract with us, unless he's had some sort of guarantees, which we hope he has. That's benefit of the club. But yeah, you're 100% right. It can't be easy for families. I think he said he wanted to stay in the Championship as well, if I'm not wrong. He wasn't ready to go back at the minute. I might have got that wrong, but
look, Premier League footballer is all I'm going to say for Pato. He has played in the Premier League, or not?
Yeah.
But yeah, go on then. Would you want us to sign Pato or not?
I 100%.
Yeah.
It's either Pato or somebody from the Eastern European Slovakian League Z that we've never heard of that was very good on a video.
Florian Kabatsky, Olaf Kabatsky. Sorry.
Who was it?
Do you know what? There, I got Florian Canberra and Olaf Kabatsky mixed up. That is a
Canberra. Oh God, we've had some stinkers, haven't we? Canberra. What was the other one? Dela Cruz. Remember him?
Oh yes, yeah. He's. I'm gonna have a look actually. Where Florian Canberra? Where's he went to? He went to Huddersfield. He's playing for
Juventus.
No, Rapperswil Jona is a Swiss football club. I've no idea what league they're playing in the Challenge League, whatever that is. Step 2 in Switzerland. Wow, what a! Do
you know? I wonder if our club as players have such a mismatch of wages because you can't be getting much money there. But then you see some of the lads at the club that must be getting off the wages at Wednesday must be just literally.
Well, apparently Gassama was on absolute peanuts, and then you've got Barry Bannan on what 400 grand a week or whatever he's on according to United. So, but you look at it, like 20 grand a week is just a shade over £1 million a year. When you look, because I think when you talk about football wages as well, Paul, like people just throw around like, oh, he's only on £4 grand a week. I'm thinking only £4 grand a week, like only.
I know. Do you know what? I was speaking. Somebody asked for my card the other night at an event, and the lady that was doing the event came up and said, "Oh, she'll be in touch. My husband's very wealthy. He's just exited his business for 100 million quid."
Hey, if Chansiri's listening,
like, oh, I've got a great quick story. I'd say I did a gig in Miami a few years ago, and her husband was like some sort of officiator at a hospital. And he said, "Oh, I flew the night before and I wanted to go down Miami Beach. I've obviously never been there. I wanted to go and see it the day before the gig." And he went, "Oh, you've got to come for food. You must come for food because my friend is coming for food and he loves your music. You must come for food." So anyway, I went round for food. His friend cancelled because he had a meeting. It was a bloke that bought Arsenal. We could have been the new Arsenal if I could have got in his ear.
Yeah, look. So basically, it's your fault. Is that what
it's
we're saying?
It's my fault. It's my fault.
Fair enough. We can pin it all on you. Right, then let's. We did a football game yesterday, apparently, because getting news out of Sheffield Wednesday, like I said on Wednesday night, is like North Korea. We don't get told anything, but there was a what was it? A training exercise is what they called it. I did kind of wonder, like, when does a friendly become a training exercise? And then I thought in my head, like, they must be playing longer than 90 minutes, and that was the case. 2 45s and then a half an hour added on the end, so that all our squad, that massive squad that we've got, could get some minutes under the belt. But yeah, we won 2-0 against Mansfield. I mean, it says Mansfield
kids.
Yeah, it were, because Mansfield had their kind of version of Owls in the Park, which they called Stags Fest yesterday, which all the players, all the first 11, or I'm guessing most of them, were at that. So it must have been, like when we played Stocksbridge and we had just like the Sheffield Wednesday 11, it must have been their kind of version. So I'm not going to get too excited. I mean, it is 100% record, Paul. Man City under 23s. Who else we played? York City, apparently. Because that's what it says. Apparently, we've won 2-0 today or whatever. I understand. He's what? Imagine that, Paul. Journos are saying, "I understand that we've won 2-0 today." Like, this is where we've got to.
Do I cannot believe that we're in an actual professional football league and there's nobody officiating the league going, it's all right. Where are all these fans going to wear all these shirts that they've bought pre-season? Where are they going to wear them?
Well, they haven't been wearing them at tram lines, so I haven't been to tram lines myself. But just reporters on the floor have been saying that normally it's a wash with the new shirt. It's normally been announced kind of a week before tram lines happens and stuff. People are saying they've literally not seen one person wearing it, which is obviously good. Anyway, in that 2-0 win, Paul, are you sitting down? Because Olaf Kabatsky scored and also Ike Ugbo. Yeah, I know. That's how I felt when I saw that.
I
mean,
get
it was
excited. It's the kids, isn't it? You know that Mansfield's just gone. Oh, you know what? Sunday under 18s, and Wednesday's like, oh yeah, let's go for it. Oh,
that's it. We're getting really excited because we beat Mansfield. Yeah, Mansfield youth set up. I mean, there were 22 players that featured. I will quickly whiz through them all. It was Charles, Valerie, Iofa, Otagbeo, Max Lowe, Palmer, Fashira, McNeil, Ingleson, Ugbo, and Jamal Lowe. They were the ones that started. And then Johnson, not Marvin Johnson. I forget what his first name is, a young lad that we've got. Kabatsky, Shalabar, Kadamatri, Stretch, what a great name for a goalkeeper, by the way. Thornton does great chocolates. Shipston, McGee, Fernandez, and Brown as well. So yeah, some that we know, some that we don't know from the under 23s and stuff. Couple of things. First of all, Ugbo in the goals. I know it's only a friendly, but Paul, he can't be as shit as he were last season, can he? He just cannot be that bad this season, this time around, can he?
When I think about Ike Ugbo, I think about his supply. And I just feel last year, whatever system role played wasn't his. Yeah. He couldn't win an header. He couldn't trap a ball. He couldn't. It was poor. And he was poor. This year, I think about his supply.
Yeah, if it was shit last year, what's it going to be like this season?
Do you know what I mean? It's like we haven't even got. Have we got a winger? Have we got any pace? We've got all the pacers gone. By the way, there's no pace anymore. We've stripped. I don't know.
We've lost four attack. I looked actually, and I can remember me and Matt sat down and we were talking about kind of. I think it were a question we got asked an extra time. It was if we had to pick a team like to play tomorrow, if this first game of the season started tomorrow, what would your first 11 be? And we gave it, and we actually were saying, what, it's not actually that bad. But obviously, in that one there, you had Barry Bannan, you had Jeddy Gassama, you had Masaba, you had Smith, and you also had Windass as well. And you looked at it and you go, yeah, it's all right. Take those players out of it, and you are right. You're looking at it and you're thinking, oh yeah, like we can have blind optimism. I spoke about this last week again.
Well, we're missing a massive part. None of them are going to stay fit all season. Shalabar's not going to stay fit, so that's one down. I think Kabaki had a couple of injuries.
He did.
Who else have we got? We've not got many more. I should remember them.
Jamal Lowe, he flattered to deceive last season.
Iofa.
Iofa as well. Yeah,
it's
well, to be fair, when you look through the squad, like they have all had injuries at some point. Max Lowe also picked up an injury, mainly probably because he had to play far too much football than what was expected of him. Jan Valery picked up a few niggly injuries, which I know is going to happen. But you're right, though. You look at the strength in depth, and there just isn't any, is there? Like there's no. I mean, you look to the bench. If we're in a game and we're losing 1-0, and you look to your bench to try and change it. Like literally, who are you going to bring on to change it at this moment in time? Like,
this is heartbreaking, isn't it? Like for the fan base too. One of the main things I didn't want to see this season is Barry Bannan losing his mind, surrounded by kids because they don't know what they're doing. They're on the wrong side. They're getting caught. It's just to be optimistic. It's great that we've won against Mansfield, and it's nice to see. Like Ugbo. If he starts scoring this season, then somebody needs to have a serious word because he's got the worst supply of any season. But saying that, I suppose Gassama could be quite selfish. They didn't cross really. We got no crosses of a ball. We'd only got Johnson.
Well, the other thing as well, Gassama, he didn't go to the byline, does he?
No.
Paul used to do that. He used to get to the byline to try and cut it back.
Then he couldn't cross.
Yeah, he couldn't. He had lead foot, didn't he? It just sailed straight out for a throw-in or a goal kick. Yeah. Whereas that Ugbo scored most of his goals from being in 6-yard box, and it was a case of just dragging it back across the box. He did one thing he is good at, or he was good at, certainly in that the second half of the first season of Danny Röhl when he were on loan, is he'd kind of go to the 6-yard box and he'd pull back, and then the defender would lose him, and then all it takes is to square it across. I think he did that against. I want to say Birmingham, that goal where he scored one at the back stick, like from about a yard.
Was that out with Vader? That was a great goal. Yeah, that was my favourite goal when he just leaped like a salmon.
Well, that was for Johnson, but that same game, I'm sure he scored another one where Vader pulled it back. Yeah,
I mean, for me, a lot of the Ike Ugbo things, just get them balls in, get them in. I mean, Johnson couldn't do it, could he? Towards the end, I suppose. My opinion was, 34, 35. I thought he was burnt out. I thought he was knackered towards the end of the season. And then we're having to bring the Japanese player that we found
Ryo Hatsuse,
walking around Sheffield somewhere. Brought him in for a game. Yeah. Is that the actual one?
That is the Japanese flag that he's. I'm going to have to fold it up nice and neatly now.
I thought you were re-signing him. I thought he was going to pop out after like... Ta-da!
No, it's the Japanese flag is firmly in the drawer. That was a waste of money, just like the American flag that I bought as well. That was a waste of money too. So, and the yellow tie. I've got all the props, but they're just all not going to be.
One day it's going to change, man. One day it's going to change when we're in League Two and we can sign players again.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the training exercise that we had yesterday. That first 11. Did look when you look at it very similar to perhaps what we're going to be starting with this season. Obviously, there was no Bannan, there was no Patterson, even though they said that Patterson was going to feature. We'll come on to that in a second, but we started with Charles, Valerie, Iofa, Ottugbeyo, Maxlow. That looks like a back four. Palmer, Fashira, McNeil, Ingleson, Ugbo, and Jamal Lowe. So probably Palmer and Fashira, and then Ingleson one side, Jamal Lowe probably on the other, McNeil in the 10 with Ugbo up front. It could have been any formation, but 4-2-3-1 probably would fit looking at it. I mean, would you be happy with that? I mean, we haven't got much option, have we really, to be fair?
No.
I suppose only Shalabar and Kadamatri are the only other two that could perhaps stake a claim of potentially starting, I guess, other than Bannan and Pato, if they both sign, of course.
I think it's a lot better than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting after Smith and Windass, it would be Charles, then it would be touch wood. It's not, by the way. We're not there yet. But I think it's
a lot of the kids. Yeah,
it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. If we can keep to that, I'd be quite happy with that. I think it's a massive season for Ottugbeyo. I think a lot on that lad.
This is the thing, like the young lads that come in, Paul, you need them experienced heads alongside you. And, I hope it isn't Bannan. I hope Bannan is going to be featuring this season. He's going to be playing. You need those players around you. And when you're chucking so many young lads in, Fashira, Ottugbeyo, if we've got, McNeil as well, literally those three players have got about 10 games and probably 4 starts between them in Sheffield Wednesday colours. And even in the career, I think McNeil's got a few more down at like League 2 level, but certainly at Championship level, they've not got much experience whatsoever. No. And it's it's all right saying, if you can do it in this league, you can do it in that league, but you're going to get smashed to pieces. And
it's annoying, isn't it? All the friendlies that we're playing, all the friendlies that we're playing are against sides a lot lower. There's no, where's the actual competitive, unless we're going to see a couple of friendlies next week that are going to be played behind closed doors, like Middlesbrough or somebody like, Barcelona.
Yeah.
Barcelona Z.
I don't mean they've not, we're going to be chucking them in and expecting them just to gel and to play well. And, again, I don't want to be pessimistic about the whole thing, but there's a distinct reality that we could be, 5, 6, 7 games in a similar situation that we were 2 seasons ago under Cisco, that we haven't won a game all season and we are really struggling. And then it's a test of character then for these players, these youngsters that have come in. All of a sudden now you've got, potentially 20,000 fans at Hillsborough, hoping, willing you to win a game. And I just don't want it to come, start unraveling. I've seen a lot of people saying this is their chance, and yes, it is a chance.
Yeah,
you've also got to be good enough to take that chance, Paul. And I don't know if
it's amazing, isn't it? The academy's only ever given us Liam Palmer and Pierce Charles recently, and I think that it is the chance, and they will be biting at the bit. But I mean, the step up must be insane, and for 90 minutes, because I think last season when Roll used to rotate a little bit towards bringing Smith on for 20 minutes. I think that's because they weren't fit. Because I remember one specific game where, I'm not saying that Windass isn't fit, but on 70 minutes towards the end of the season, I was sitting the bottom south stand, and he came to the corner and he was obviously sweating. He was blowing a bit. And then I saw Shea Charles come like an absolute Rolls Royce, take the ball off somebody and then start a counter-attack. And the fitness, I started looking around the players thinking, well, you've got Johnson that's 34 there. The young lads should be fit, but matched to concentration levels in the Championship. It's an uphill task, isn't it?
Well, the other thing as well, Paul, is when you look at the players that do get released from the academy, very few of them land in the EFL. They end up landing in National League North, even further down the pyramid as well. And that's not just kind of a one-off. That's most of them. Most of the players that don't get a new contract or a professional contract, even they end up playing for Gainsborough Trinity or Matlock Town or someone like that. So the caliber of the player that's coming through isn't, all right. Yes, we've had, Bailey Cadamartri looks all right. Caelan Cole Cadamartri, he's obviously gone to Man City. We'll never see him in a blue and white shirt ever again. So there's better players coming through, but it needs to be more like the players that leave Sheffield Wednesday Academy should really be dropping no further down than League Two.
We should have prospects. We should have prospects, and unfortunately, the ones that we've got, probably the best one is just left for $1.5 million.
Yeah, like you should see. You should see Chesterfield sniffing around for like all of our academy players. Really, that's where they should be going to, but they're not. So now we're expecting those same players that weren't good enough last season to suddenly now, all right. I know he's not picking them over. All the other players have left, so we've left with no option. But as fans, we're now expecting these players to step up and now be good enough. And I do really fear.
There's another thing, though. There's another thing in all this madness is the fact that they do what they did under Cisco and go on a mad Aldi shopping spree in the bargain bucket section a week before the season starts, and then Danny Roll or whoever's in charge has to go.
Yeah, it'll be all Portuguese players. Amadou Paxão.
I think the Japanese lad we had at left back was a complete fluke of, he's here, we'll cover Marvin Johnson with him. He's okay.
What the fuck was all that about? Really, when you think about it, what did he do? We've signed him for literally. He literally had a holiday, didn't he? He had a holiday in Sheffield. I mean, he did get the rough end of the stick. He's had a holiday in Sheffield.
I'd be interested to know what he was paid, by the way. Because
maybe not at all.
Well, it makes me think that here's your chance, lad. Go and show us what you can do. You've got 3 months contract. We'll give you £100 a week. I'm not saying he got £100 a week, but
I don't know. It just baffles me as well how you've got Marvin Johnson, Rio Hatsusi, and again I know it could have been his call. He could have gone, "This is shit. I'm just gonna go back to where." I mean, I was looking now. He hasn't signed for anyone as of yet.
That's a surprise.
But when you look and you think we've got literally Max Lowe, who could also be on his way to Potato Land in Preston. We've got literally no one at left back, no one of a professional standing.
We've got no left foot, have we?
It's all right. Akin Famewo can play. Oh wait, no.
Oh he's gone to also in a mess, which is
that is out of the frying pan and back into the frying pan. I think he's gone to.
I mean, I just can't.
It comes to something when you're thinking Hull is better than Sheffield Wednesday. Hull in their mess is seen as a better situation than what Sheffield Wednesday
or have they just offered him a contract that's marginally better? I mean, I find it absolutely it's just baffling, like you say, with the Japanese player. The best one for me was the lad who came for about a month, Armstrong, who he's a great player. Yeah, so was Eric Cantona. It's not anymore because Eric Cantona's 60. He was about 35 and he still got a bit, but come on, we're scraping, aren't we?
Yeah, there has been some question. In hindsight, is a wonderful thing, and when you do look back, there has been some questionable decisions and stuff. We'll touch on Akin Famewo in a second, Paul, but just on the two omissions from yesterday's game, Bannan and Pato. A lot's been said about Bannan and his relationship with Danny Rill, that things have kind of fallen down somewhat. He's not really too happy and stuff. Obviously, Pato said he was going to play. Well, the club said he was going to feature, and he didn't either. I mean, can we read anything into that?
I think insurance. I think that Pato gets a knock. Who's going to pay? The club going to pay? I know you can probably sign trialist insurance or something like that, but maybe, hey, listen, maybe Pato's had an offer from somewhere else, and he's thought, I'll just hold that off.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well, like, Pato coming back, he's only training. Like, he needs to do some sort of training. He needs to keep himself fit and stuff. And of course, we are going to welcome him back with open arms because we need the bodies, and of a half decent standard as well. So yeah, I mean, it just again, if Bannan doesn't sign a contract, Paul,
our fan base, throw everything you want at us, throw transfer embargoes, point deductions, relegations. What you mean you're not signing Bannan? The shit won't even hit the fan. It'll go way past it.
Yeah, I know. I'm laughing. But that's just a kind of
absolutely no. But you're right. You've got to laugh because it's the most disrespected thing. And I think the chairman must know that. Chansiri must know he's got to sign Bannan. How's he going to do it? I don't know. Is he going to go back into Napoleon's and have another spin? Because he can't walk away from the table, can he? That's my opinion. That's why we're in this mess. Because he doesn't know when enough's enough. And he's got to keep hold of Bannan. So how am I going to do it? What am I going to have to out? We've got to have Barry Bannan. He's the captain of the club. He's everything that the club stands for.
That's the other thing, Paul. We're 2 weeks away from the start of the season, and our club captain, we don't actually know if he's going to be here or not. Like that's the situation that we find us. Like when you say it like that, it does kind of hit quite hard, really, as to the situation that we find ourselves in. It is that Stockholm syndrome as well. Like, it's so bad, and yet we just have a picture of Callum Patterson in a Sheffield Wednesday training kit, and we all like, it's as if everything else has just not happened.
We seem to be pushed by this chairman to levels that we shouldn't be pushed to. So
we were elated when the players got paid late. We were like, oh my God, yes, he's paid them, hallelujah. And we're like that's just that's a normal thing. It might come out next week that the North Stand's open. Yes, I can sit on the North Stand. And then stand I've bought a ticket for. I can actually sit there. Brilliant.
If it carries on little bits of news, I hope for God there's not any part of this fan base or fans that go, oh, he's doing his best though, isn't he? He's done his best. Fucking done his best. I tell you what, do his best with a one-way ticket. That's what he do his best.
Yeah, exactly. Right, listen, I've started some comments here. I think this is in reference to me props and stuff. George says, buy a hard hat and a welding mask. That might be next week, George, if if things happen how we think it's going to. SWFC Turner says, Uggs for the Ballon d'Or. Look, mate, I hope you're right. I really do. I hope he does hit some form this season. George says, 4-4-2, get it forward, up and down and bombing on, together as one, all that. James says young Granger to come. Yeah, but we're talking about a 15, 16-year-old in Will Granger.
Oh, they'll sell him. He won't be here. He'll be going.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, we're all panicking to death thinking about I feel sick sitting down ready to watch that Leicester game. I feel sick. But it's going to be a lot worse watching it. And everybody's acceleration of anger is going to go from whatever it is now, plus 10, when we've been battered 4-0. And we can't get out of our box because we ain't got an outlet.
Yeah, I mean we struggled when we played, when we played Leicester 2 seasons ago before they got promoted. I know they're in a slightly different situation now, but there's levels. Do you know what I mean? And we weren't, we weren't the best then, but we certainly weren't as bad as what we were. Who's going to
hold the ball up? If Pato doesn't re-sign, it's just be like that, won't it? Bing. Bing.
Well, that's it. Like you look and think, well, we've got some pace to get us out of defence, and you look to that and you're like, we haven't got that either. It's going to be very, very interesting as to how we're going to play. But look, do you know what? We've had a full pre-season to kind of work on how we're going to do that with a manager that's fully committed to the cause, and he hasn't been, hasn't been distracted one bit.
How does that work out, by the way, with Pedersen and Roll? I think we should play this way. No, actually, I think we should play this way. Well, shall we try that free kick? No. I tell you what, is he returning next year? That masterful set piece taker that we brought in. What's he called? Where was he from? Bognor Regis or somewhere?
Accrington, weren't he? From Accrington.
He was brilliant. I loved him standing up like that, going. Fucking hell. Go and get Steve Bracknell, for God's sake.
I mean, look, there's so much to so many questions and very few answers. We touched on it a little bit. Akin Famewo, he's been announced that he's not signing a new deal with Sheffield Wednesday. It looks like he's going to be signing for Hull, as we've just mentioned. Just kind of, what did you think to Akin Famewo during his time at Wednesday? Because for me, I think there's no denying that last season was probably his best. I know he obviously picked up that injury, Pompey away, I think it was, which was a bit of a, just frustrated, I guess, because he was playing some decent football. But I just think he's one of those where, he's left-footed, which, they're like rocking horse shit, aren't they? Left-footed footballers, which helps for that kind of balance and stuff. Yes, he had that injury, came back and he struggled a little bit to get into it, but to be fair, we were all struggling back end of last season, to be honest. But again, when you look at it, it's one of those where you just want to keep anyone that you can. Like, and any player leaving it don't matter who it is. We just need bodies at the moment, and it's another one that's not going to be here.
Left-sided, like you said, could play left back at a push, and although he struggled, I think left centre half, absolutely solid, arguably the best centre half that we got. Just suffered with injuries, still a good age, 24, 25. It's like, for me, it's just like giving away Smith and Windass, really. It's just as annoying and upsetting as that, because you just think, well, he's a solid championship player. And we're just going to have to look out for somebody else now. We're always, under this era, we're always turning over players very, very quick. There doesn't seem to be much of a fight to keep valuable players. I think Famewo was a valuable player because he's a left-sided, centre half, left foot. He could play the ball a bit. He could play the ball out. I think he was a good outlet. Another bollock dropped.
It's just, again, you look at your centre-back options that we've got. We've got Deshaun Bernard, who's injured, not going to be fit until at least September, is what was said. Kind of, things might have changed, but certainly when he picked that injury up, September was when he's going to come back. You've got Don Maiofa, who's been riddled with injuries as well. The young lad, Otigbeyo. And then we're kind of struggling, we're struggling, Michael Heck was left. He's not here. So you look and is Palmer going to have to kind of step in. We don't know how Otigbeyo is going to fare. He started against Middlesbrough, had a bit of a shocker. We were 3 goals down. He had to get hooked at half time, and we just don't want many of that because we just haven't got many other options. Yes, we've got Max Lowe, who can play centre half, but if he's playing centre half, who's playing out wide left? Ingleson, is he going to have to?
Pato.
That's the thing. Like we're gonna. We need to sign some players, but then you look and think who's going to be here. I mean, I'm going to come on to it in a second with Chansiri and kind of reducing the wage bill. You don't kind of get you don't let everyone go, and then start. Do you know what I mean? And then start signing them. Again,
it's got no logic. It's got no logic. We're in such a shit show because of that man. I know we're going to get on with it, but also at the same time, even the coaches he's got there, he can't. He's not even. Is he allowing him to build? Is he allowing him to actually have a left-footed player, or is it? Oh, do what you want. That's how. I'm not going to sell the club, but do what you want. There's no leadership. There's no structure. There's no. Like you say, we haven't got a left back. If Max Lowe plays there, the cup games are going to be hilarious. By the way, I think because they'll just play all the 12-year-olds because all the other kids will be like tied up in, whatever we're playing first team. But it's just there's no.
Do you know what though? Just as an aside, Paul, I don't know whether because there becomes an element where surely the club, the EFL would have to step in to some degree because it doesn't take too many more players to not sign for Sheffield Wednesday or to leave. Sorry. In order for what would it be? Bringing the league into disrepute or something, whereby we could literally be just fielding the kids, and then it's kind of whoever. Say a takeover happens. I mean, again, I'm talking absolute pie in the sky. Say a takeover happens, at Christmas time, and we've got new owners for the new, for January transfer window. You could argue that there'd be other clubs thinking, well, wait a minute, like they were fielding the kids for the this club have played Sheffield Wednesday twice, whipping boys, and they've beaten them quite convincingly. And now all of a sudden, they've signed a competitive squad. Like it's literally going to, it could get to a point where it's like the Bolton situation, 2018-19. Let's not forget the players could just turn around. Payday is coming up soon. Well, 27th of July? I don't know if payday was supposed to be Friday or if it's last day of the month. I've no idea. As fans, we shouldn't really be talking about it, but here we are again. There could be a situation where they're not paid again, and they're thinking, well, what? Actually, fuck it. I'm just gonna refuse. They'll go. Oh, my groin. Yeah. It's tight this week, lads. Yeah, we're not playing this week.
End of the season when the contracts are running out. I mean, how many times at Hillsborough we've seen certain players sort of like not put that foot in, in a relegation battle because the contract's up. The chairman, obviously, for me at the minute, doesn't care if we stay in the Championship. And he can come out and say he does, but there's every sign that he clearly doesn't. The point you made about the EFL is extremely interesting because, in my opinion, the EFL have a lot to blame. A, they've put this bloke in charge. B, there's no strategy other than punishing the club. There seems to be no strategy other than punishing the club without the regulator, if that's right. And Clive Betts brought out such an important thing. What happened in March? Miss Chansiri, can you play the players this month? Is everything all right? Is it all right? Is it? Can we have a look at your paper? Oh, it's all right. Okay, then. Cheers, thanks. Week later, players aren't paid. March.
Yeah, and they've signed off on saying that we've seen, we're satisfied. We're satisfied with what he's got. Yeah.
Who signed that off? And what papers did they look at? What papers did the EFL see to say that we could pay players when a week later we can't? The fans are going mental because we want answers from like some sort of authoritative figure, because the chairman won't listen to you or me or the fans. He's just like, we're minions or whatever we are. It needs to be,
So I do agree something needs to change, but again, the rules have to be signed off by all the other chairmen, so they're not going to sign something off that's kind of that's going to affect them as chairman, are they? Really? So that's the difficulty that we have, really. Just on Chansiri, then, Paul. I mean, before we kind of talk into the fact that I'm getting to the point where I don't think he's going to sell the football club, but before that, he had a nice meal out at the weekend, didn't he? Did he go to Wagamama's or no? He went to let's have a look. Le Petit Maison in Mayfair, I'm told, in London. I think it was his daughter had graduated. I think I'd seen on
really pleased, Instagram. Really pleased.
Yeah. So I mean, when I passed my GCSEs, I went to Frankie and Benny's, but they're off to a nice swanky restaurant in Mayfair, enjoying themselves. I mean, it's not as if he's not paying the staff and they're having to literally no money for 2-3 weeks or however it was. 700. Well, I'll give you 700 quid. That'll tide you.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Meanwhile, I had a look at the menu. 75 quid for a steak. And God forbid if you check out that wine cellar, there were one in there, £12,000 for some sort of bottle of fuck knows what it were. I ain't got a clue. It certainly weren't Chardonnay. I don't drink that shit.
This is the respect, what I'm talking about. I said at the beginning.
It's not a great look, is it, Paul? Like, it really isn't a great look.
Doesn't respect us, does he? If he did respect us, that picture wouldn't have been taken. He wouldn't be doing that. At the end of the day, this staff there that's potentially having to default on mortgage payments don't know if they're going to get paid this month. And he's swanning around under the rock because he won't talk to anybody, going to these swanky restaurants with about 8 or 9 people. I'm not saying he's paid. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. What I'm trying to say is there's a certain look, isn't there?
That's it.
And that's not it. That's not
the
look.
What? If it's the not paying the staff that is the big thing. Not paying them and then tipping up outside a swanky restaurant. It just looks really, really bad. And obviously, he can do whatever he wants, and he is doing whatever he wants. Quite clearly, doesn't give a shit about anyone else whatsoever. No. He's enjoying it with his family. I'm sure. I hope he had a fantastic evening. But again, he needs to then, well, he doesn't turn up to the training ground, does he? That's the other thing. So he doesn't have to look those people in the eye that are struggling and that are, having to hand the notice in because they're just going to get another job somewhere else where they might actually be valued and they might actually get paid.
We were talking about the players earlier. You were talking about the players just a minute ago. Tell me any of those players at Hillsborough that are going to play for this chairman after what's just happened.
Exactly.
If I was a player, I'd be like, "Fuck you, mate."
Well, that's it. It's a lot said about football in terms of the dressing room and stuff. And if you've got the dressing room and you run through people running through brick walls for managers and stuff like that, or for the clubs or for the fans, or I'd like to think that us as fans and players are quite tight knit, and we will, well, certain players will obviously we hold them in such high esteem and things, and we'll always give players a chance as well. But then you look at it, and what is that? What is the
Smith said, didn't he? Smith when Smith said this club is and always will be about the fans. That's who the players are playing for. I think that statement says to me where his head was playing for. But
the problem is he's gone though now. It's easy to say something when you've gone and you've disappeared.
But I mean, in the changing room, that's what they're going to be playing for next season. It's just the fans. Not, I mean, like we said, the players must see everything on social media and think, "Oh, nice of the chairman. We didn't get paid last month, but are we going to get paid next week? We don't know." But he's living it up in Mayfair at that nice restaurant, and you want me to put my foot in against Leicester? No.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, obviously the takeover stuff has gone very quiet. I think was it last week, the week before, where it was said that is the rumors of the agreed bid, that's all kind of fallen down. Talks have stalled. Talks have pretty much stopped and things. I know that there is that small glimmer of hope that the NDA is actually doing exactly what it should be doing, and that we're not hearing anything that's happening, and things might be happening behind the scenes. I mean, look, that photo was in London. I think they put some pictures on in Paris as well a bit after. I've no idea if it
was in Paris after that.
I believe so, yeah. I don't know if Dapon went with them or not, or whether he stayed in London. I know when he does come over to England, he very rarely actually comes up to Sheffield, and he does actually stay down in London and does all his business down there. So, I could be putting 2 and 2 together here, and I could be getting 7. But the positive side of things is things might be happening. However, I do feel like we would have probably heard something like a journalist would have got wind of something happening, not necessarily who and who they are and how much money they've got and whatever else. Just even this Monaco consortium, we've never heard who they are. So things like that can come out. Like you can give a little bit of information without giving everything and kind of blowing everything out of the water and stuff. But I think when you look at the selling of the players that have left and stuff, it's almost like, for me, Paul, and I don't know if you agree or not, that he's getting to the club to a level that he can afford, as in the money that's coming in through, whether that be season tickets, TV money, all this that and that and the other. He's getting it to a point, because 13 players have left, Paul. If they're on $8,000 a week, which is not beyond the realms, you're looking at around about £4.5 to £5 million that he's saved. If you add Barry Bannan in the mix, let's say if he is on 20 grand a week, that's another $1 million. So we're looking at between like £4, £5, £6 million less that he's going to be having to shell out. That's obviously if he doesn't bring any extra players in. But as it stands now, and to me, that just looks like I'm just getting it to a level that I can afford, and I'm not going anywhere.
Why have the club though? If that's your ambition, and you think that the Wednesday fan base are going to sit in League One and, we're happy we're in League One, no ambition, and then when we get to top 6, top 2, and it's getting a bit scary, it comes across and does something stupid again, like the promotion one that we could have had if all this stuff. It's not acceptable, and the fans, in my opinion, should never accept it. It's past that line of no return about 18 times, but this time he's not paying his staff. If he's in London doing business and it hardly comes up, what is he getting out of this club?
There's a question here, or a comment, sorry, from Alex. Why didn't he buy a fucking London club?
But what's he getting out of the club? We're hearing that he wants stupid money, almost money that deliberately straight away scares people off, right? Potentially 5 consortiums. Was it 5 that was looking at it? They can't all be bad. They can't, the law of averages always come back to Mr. Chansiri. If you want 100 million for a club, that says to me you're trying to scare people off because it's nowhere near. So, and you spend most of the time in London. And are you ever going to come back and watch this club again? What are you getting out of the club? It's just an honest answer. What are you getting? Do you have like the thrill of owning the club? Is it for at Chansiri? Is that what you get out of the club? What are you getting out of it? I just don't get it.
Well, that's the question.
And it's making you ill. He said it was making him ill.
Yeah,
just go and enjoy it with your family.
I remember that at the fans forum, and that at that point, obviously, you know, we if we knew then what we knew now, things might be a little bit different. But at that point, I thought that was kind of the chink in his armor when he said that that he was making him ill. And I think the follow-up question to that was, well, just appoint a CEO then. Appoint someone to do that job for you. Then you don't need to have to do it. You can stay over there. He was talking about like the time with his family and stuff, and you don't have to do anything. You can stay over in Thailand. And
we've had a CEO, haven't we? She didn't last very long.
Well, like, there's common denominator in there.
But
all of this,
you know, it's that. I don't know whether it's the stubbornness of not letting it go, but I mean, this thing's costing him. This monster. I've said to my friend so many times, imagine sitting at his desk and him going, right. Right.
His in tray must be fucking massive.
We need because I think he signs a lot of stuff off, doesn't he? I think most of the stuff is signed off by him. What I can gather, what I can tell. Oh, we need how many toilet rolls? Right. I mean,
he's got this one, toilet rolls. Yeah, we'll leave that one. What's this one? HMR. No, fuck that one off. Not do that one.
I'll leave that one.
But what's this one? What's Tracy saying? Players' wages are due yesterday. Fuck that off. Like,
no, I'm going for a meal. I'm going for a meal in Mayfair. I've never mind about them. They're all right.
But that's the thing. Like, we're at a point now. And look, I'm not saying that someone's life has to be put on hold just because it's the pre-season of a football league. But like, when you're the man that makes all the decisions on absolutely everything, that is the problem, isn't it? Like, you can't. You have to have a team of people around you, and he doesn't surround himself with absolutely anyone. He does surround himself with one person, though, and that's your mate, Amadou Paxau. I think you've got some. You've got an opinion on him, haven't you?
My opinion of Paxau is I just want to know what he does. If he's an agent, that's absolutely fine. But the only thing I'd like to know is, does he do anything else? I mean, I don't see that many agents that prominent around Hillsborough always sat there. And also, the only reason I'd like to know if he does anything else, and he might not, he might just be, is it an agent? If he's an agent, that's brilliant. Great.
It's his advisor, isn't it? It's his advisor.
Right. Well, there we go. So that's his advisor. So if we can't get an interview with Mr. Chansiri, why can't we get an interview with Amadou Paxau? Is he his advisor?
Yeah, but I believe so.
Why can't we get an interview with him from the club? And if Paxau doesn't want to give an interview, why can't Alistair Wilson do an interview? All these people don't give interviews. Like I say, I haven't got a problem at all with Paxau. I get here that he's an advisor and then he's an agent. What is it? Just tell us what he is so we know. But it's the club all over. They don't tell us what people do because they don't have to.
That's it. It's very secretive, isn't it? The club, and again, it's become the norm. Like for me, you know, doing this podcast, we sign a player, and I go, and he's signed for
undisclosed.
No idea. It could be a year, could be 3 years, could be 12. You're just hoping that the agency or the agent are going to put that Instagram post out that says, "Oh, our lad Max is signed a deal until 2029."
Have you ever known a fan base? Have you ever known a fan base? Obviously, my heart goes out to Reading and especially Morecambe at the minute, of so much little respect from the top to the fans, but want the fans to pay.
Well, the honest answer is I don't know, because I'm you know, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I'm not. I know you said you've done some work for Manchester United. I don't know if you've done work for other football clubs at all, but I'm literally like, you know, you see little bits, and you know, I talk to a few other fans of other football clubs occasionally. To be fair, there's a championship WhatsApp group, which I'm sure I'll be subscribing to the League One group next season, but I have it on mute, to be honest, because really I mean, in greatest respect, but I don't really care about any of the other clubs. So when you ask that, and that's the thing as well.
No, but the PR thing, James. All I'm saying is, it's just like the most simplest thing in business. Embrace what's around you and what you need to take this club forward, or to make money, you need the fans to buy the shirts, to buy the tickets, which, by the way, are extremely expensive for what we're going to watch.
Yeah. Well, like it or hate it, Paul, like social media is massive now. It's what drives a lot of things. We've already referenced them already. Spud Bros, and they do baked potatoes, are a little van, and they've blown up on TikTok and things like that. And they've got to a level now where they've sponsored their, I presume, local club, front of shirt sponsor, championship sponsor. I've no idea how much they've paid. They're doing loads of promo stuff around that, and that's all because of social media. And Preston have taken a chance on this business to do that, and they're doing all stuff behind the scenes on that, and that's going viral or whatever. But like we don't embrace any of that whatsoever. And these other clubs, Derby, do like a bit of a documentary every month or every 2 months that they do. And if we do one video of Cameron Dawson showing, I can't remember who the player was. Was it Joey Pelliapessi? Showing him on it, weren't it? It was Youth Van Arken, weren't it? It might have been Joey Pelliapessi as well. Showing him like Sheffield slang, and we absolutely buzz off it. We're like, oh my god, this is amazing.
There's no structure, there's no continuity of that. There's no thing set up to, for example, I went for a meeting with Liam Dooley a few years ago after that meeting with Chansiri, when Chansiri was openly saying, when Dej was openly saying, anybody that likes to come in and help the club, I want that. Well, we all sat in this meeting with Liam, and there was people there. There was a millionaire there. There was somebody who had a CRM system, which would have been beneficial to the club. I could gather was Liam was really interested in it. Not one of those ideas was utilized, I don't think, from that meeting, because I'm sure he said something like, "Oh, Mr. Chansiri won't," or with this one or that one. So all these things that you're saying are great, and every other club has it. And there's no better than Sheffield Wednesday for having different skill sets with fans from all over the place. You've got my friend who does Lens Go, does match days, who's brilliant at stuff like that. I know he does a lot of work for Sheffield Wednesday, but he's got a good business. There's so many great businesses that aren't brought in.
But I bet he's got other ideas that he can do.
Oh, massive!
And it just gets kind of.
Do you know one idea that Man United had? And this is so simple. So Man United have ambassadors. So they'll have Dennis Irwin, they'll have Brian Robson, they'll have Gary Pallister. So, all these players that we used to have in the prime 90s that are still living in the city that could be really useful for the club.
You mean like Leighton Palmer, who is slagged off? You mean
Leighton Palmer, all these players. So they must all be bad people, because I don't think any of that class do anything at Hillsborough. Anyway, obviously not. But what I'm trying to say is they have these ambassadors. Now, what they did on one season, Wes Brown was an ambassador, and they had like a leather Chesterfield suite put in the stand. And what they did was they invited, and they filmed it, like live filming, an experience with that ambassador, pre-food, pre-game, sit down, watch the game with them, get expert analysis, talk about the game, go. That's a package. What's that cost?
Next to nothing, yeah. In
Doesn't do it.
What do you mean, Paul? We roll them out at half time. We have a 20-second interview on the shit PA system that you can't even hear certainly from the North Stand anyway.
Yeah,
we roll them out. We have no idea who's coming out, and they ask him 2 questions about the game, and then they do the 50-50 draw, and then they go back in again. So I mean, do you know what I mean? That's not enough, Paul. Is that not enough?
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible.
Paul, we could talk for hours and hours and hours on ideas and stuff. And the thing is as well, it just because none of these ideas get listened to. I'm not saying what we're talking about on the podcast. I mean, I'm sure these ideas have been presented to the football club by numerous people, whether that's by email, in passing, whatever it may be, and they never get listened to and never get utilized. And what's happened is we've just fallen so far behind absolutely everyone else in every department that now we're just crying out for new owners, new ideas,
a plan.
Yeah, that P word. It's like swearing that to our Desh, in it, really. That got me at the fans forum when he was specific. He was asked, "What is your?" I think the question was, "What is your plan, or what is your 5-year plan?" And his answer was, "We don't know what league we're going to be in next season, so why should I give you my plan? Because my plan will change." And I was like, "That is." You could just give us 2 plans or 3. If you don't know if you're going to be in Premier League, Championship, or League One, fuck's sake, we were there nearly 5 hours. It's not like we didn't have enough time for us to tell us what his 3 plans were. But the honest answer is he didn't have a plan, or maybe his plan was to just kind of get rid of all the players in the end of the season. Do you
think he just? For me, and I know we've got to move on to the next thing. The quick thing is, for me, in my head, Mr. Chance Dej, right, is that child in that family that's grown up in a very, very privileged family where they've been highly respected. His brother's gone and managed one of the biggest companies in the world along with his dad, and he hasn't. There's probably an obvious reason why he's not involved. And he comes and he goes, "Oh, people like me. Oh, I can actually, if I buy this football club, how many people? Oh, I will be the savior." And it's like a power thing of, I'm a dictator and I cannot let go.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, actually, because we are going to do straight after this in a couple of minutes' time. We are going to go over to Patreon, patreon.com/WTID pod. If you want to go over there, we asked for people's controversial opinions, asked the members for those. One of those questions, Paul, that came up was controversial opinion was that Chansiri would have been a hero had we have beaten Hull at Wembley. So it's funny. No. Don't give it away yet. We're going to talk about it in a bit. But it's funny. It's funny that you should say that, because maybe that's what he. If we're just kind of going all the way back in your theory, if your theory is correct, maybe he thought that would be the best way for him to be liked and kind of respected by people, by buying this football club and then
getting us to the dream, and he'd have been probably very wealthy, and the club would have been worth near what he's potentially possibly asking for it now.
He's got an accolade next to his name, then, hasn't he? Like he's got an achievement.
He's got a few things next to his name on Twitter, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's certainly called a few names, and I certainly know. I certainly know about that one. But yeah, right. Let's. We were going to talk about the North Stand, but we're running out of time. So let's wrap things up. Paul, this hour and a half has just absolutely flown.
Loved it, mate.
By. There's always, obviously, me and Matt have been doing it for a while now together. We've got that kind of, we know what's going to be said and stuff and stuff like that. And it's always a little bit of I won't say a worry, but when someone new comes on the pod. But obviously, I know you've spoken on the debate show and stuff, so I knew you're going to be great value. But it's been a good laugh, Paul, hasn't it?
No, I loved it, mate. It's great. It's just unfortunate that we're talking on. Hopefully, it can be more positive terms. And I'd like to say I hope Matt's having a nice rest, because you guys work really, really hard, and he deserves a couple of rounds of golf. I mean.
What do you mean? He has a fucking couple of rounds of golf every single week. He's always sending me snaps, pictures and stuff when he's out.
I bet he's hitting them balls hard. I tell you, at the minute, I bet he's getting some frustration out on them.
He told me actually he's played another round of golf today, and he said earlier that that he played with a couple of Rangers fans.
Oh wow! Oh God!
Imagine that.
Can I just say, of all the fucking things to happen. 3 minutes in.
Oh, you mean in terms of Gassama's goal?
I was like, for fuck's sake. And then the next thing you've got is everybody that that's Scottish that supports Rangers. So I've got a few friends. Oh, got a bargain. Oh, no. You're thinking.
I know. Do you know what as well? But I do think, just on Gazam, I do think he will do all right there. I think he's one of those that he has got that P word potential.
Yeah.
And when you've got a player like that, they need to be surrounded by better players. And there's no denying, right? Go on.
Can I just say something, James? We buy these players with reasons. We bought Bashiru with a reason, who went for a bigger fee from the Turkish side. We buy these players to develop into, well, this is how normal businesses run. Develop them into actual assets of value, like 10 million or 15 million, that our Des just goes, okay, go on then. Don't sell anybody for years, then sells the crown jewels for a packet of KP.
You're right. I've got Mark's here. Mark says another good podcast. Alex, good pod. Mark, cheers, lads. We're all Wednesday, aren't we? George says another doom and gloomer.
Oh, no, sorry.
It's all right. He says only joking. Being great. We've got No Leaf Clover says cheers, Paul. Hope to see you back on. Well, if we can get Matt on another flight to, I don't know, Spain or France or I don't know, some other country.
Maybe he needs to do a nice background, like a beach in the background live, and make us feel a bit better.
Yeah, like coming at us live from
in Thailand. Thailand, that's where he needs to be, outside a tuna factory. That's where it needs to be.
Don't put ideas into his head. James says Deja's face painted on his golf balls. I'm glad you said golf balls then and not something else. But anyway, right, let's wrap things up. But Paul, massive thanks for joining me. If you want to, if people that are listening want to continue listening to me and Paul, we are going to be talking about people's controversial opinions. We've got just to give you a flavour. Danny Rowe leaving isn't a big deal. Carlos wasn't a very good manager, just had good players. Gary Monk would have kept us up if we'd have not sacked him. Fernando Forestieri is looked at too fondly by most. The one that I mentioned, Chansiri, would have been a hero had he been had we beaten Hull. Another one, the current badge is better than the old one as well. So we're going to be talking all about those. So head over to patreon.com/WTRD pod. We're going to be live in about 10 or so minutes time. So you can join us over there. But no, thank you very much, everyone. And we'll see you all next week. Cheers.